At the beginning of the story, a girl named Langanger is shown. She sits alone by the mountainside, talking to herself. She is feeling very sad today. Since childhood, her life has been full of sorrow and hardship. Her one and only beloved person, her father, died in an accident when she was very young. Her mother still believes that Langanger was somehow responsible for his death. Because of that, her mother has never truly forgiven her. Later, her mother remarried. Now, they have a child together, named Bakula. Her mother tried hard to make Langanger accept the new man, Oemudine, as her father, but she couldn't. This created a distance between Langanger and her family. Langanger became so depressed that she felt even her friends didn't understand her feelings. Her three friends are Unjun, Lin Tang, and Ingrid. Together, they form a close-knit group. Langanger comes to the mountainside, remembers her father, and screams out in sorrow. The movie scene then shifts to show her four friends. They are planning a trip together before Lin Tang leaves for Singapore. Lin Tang suggests visiting her uncle's 25-acre farmhouse. Langanger feels that all her friends live very happy, high-quality lives. She thinks they don't know the pain of sorrow, hardship, or losing loved ones. Because of this, she sometimes even envies them. When her friends ask if she will join the trip, she tells them she has to look after her little brother, so she doesn't have time to go. After that, she goes to a restaurant to celebrate a boy's birthday. His name is Abi. She brings a cake and asks Abi to close his eyes and make a wish. Abi wishes, "I hope my friend Langanger lives a healthy life, has a long life, and can leave behind all sorrow, suffering, and thoughts of death." Hearing this, Langanger bursts out laughing. When Langanger invites Abi to join them on the trip, Abi says he has too many projects piled up at the office and can't leave right now. Hearing this, Langanger feels sad. Abi is the only person she has loved after her father. Returning home, she finds that Oemudine has left her a gift. No matter what kind of person he is, he loves Langanger like his own child. He has never forced her to call him father, and maybe that's why he's happy just hearing her call him uncle. Leaving the gift by her side, Langanger lies down and falls asleep. When she wakes up, she notices the entire room is filled with flowers and a strange, beautiful fragrance. But who scattered the flowers? As she goes into the next room, she sees her father sitting on the bed. She is overwhelmed with joy and hugs him tightly. But suddenly, she notices drops of blood falling onto her shirt. Looking at his face, she sees blood dripping from one side of his mouth. At that moment, someone grabs her from behind, and she wakes up from her sleep. From the next room, she hears Bakula crying. As she goes to quiet him, she hears voices outside. Peeking out, she sees a man has come to buy their house. Oemudine says, "I think we should discuss this with Langanger first. After all, this house holds all her childhood memories, and it was her father's house." But her mother says, "There's no need. Right now, we need money to raise Bakula. There's no room for emotions here." Just then, when the baby cries out again, Langanger enters the room. Her mother scolds her, saying, "Didn't you see your brother fall? Couldn't you at least help him up? This won't do. He's your brother." Ignoring her mother's words, Langanger brings up the topic of selling the house, leading to an argument between them. Oemudine calms them down, saying they should discuss this later. The next day, Langanger's friends pack their bags and set out for the farmhouse. It's only about 2 hours away from Lin Tang's house, but it's deep inside a forest. As they drive, their car is suddenly stopped by Langanger, who had earlier said she wouldn't come. She now decides to join them. Everyone is very happy. Chatting and laughing, the car moves deeper into the forest. After a while, the driver stops the car because the bridge ahead has collapsed. They can't cross it. As they wonder what to do next, they notice a signboard nearby that says, Karma Ranjani, just 300 meters north from their location. Excited, they decide to walk in that direction. However, once they enter the forest, the signboard mysteriously rotates by itself, pointing them the wrong way. They unknowingly head down the wrong path. They rely on their compass and continue walking, but still, the farmhouse doesn't appear. Along the way, they take a few selfies. In one of the pictures, behind them, a woman in a white dress can be seen standing and watching them from a distance. As they keep walking, Ingrid trips and falls, dropping her water bottle. Ignoring it, they move deeper into the forest and come across a site where black magic rituals have been performed. In their language, this place is called Saizen. There are flowers, burning candles, and incense sticks still fresh, meaning someone performed rituals here just recently. Before they can discuss it further, Ingrid urges everyone to move on quickly. They keep walking, not realizing how much time has passed. The sun has almost set. They wonder, how can it take so long to walk just 300 meters? Then they notice something strange. Ahead, on a tree, they find more black magic items, and, shockingly, Ingrid's dropped water bottle lying there too. They are stunned. First, how did the bottle get there? And second, how did they end up back at the same place again? What were they circling around for so long? Simply put, they were lost. Guessing their way forward, they stumbled upon a small hut at the edge of the forest. However, it was locked. When they tried to see what was inside, they suddenly caught sight of a terrifying eye and screamed in fear before running away. With no other option, they all began shouting loudly for help. Suddenly, a woman's voice called out, "Are you lost?" Turning their torches around, they saw a girl in a white dress standing there. "Are you trying to get to the farmhouse?" she asked. "There's nothing to be afraid of. My name is Kamala. I live nearby and know almost everything about this area. Come with me, I'll take you to your destination," she said. Seeing a lone girl in the middle of the forest, none of them felt much suspicion. So without any hesitation, they followed her. After walking a short distance, they saw the farmhouse ahead. The girl had spoken the truth after all. Reaching there, they felt immense happiness. Thanking Kamala, they entered the house, where they were warmly welcomed by the caretaker, Chechup. Chechup said, "Madam, I have been waiting for you all since morning. Why did you take so long?" They told him the whole story, including their meeting with Kamala, but when they turned around, the girl was no longer there. Perhaps she had gone elsewhere. Chechup laughed and said, "Forget about that, come inside. See what's waiting for you." Hearing this, everyone was surprised. Who could be waiting for them here? Hurrying inside, they saw Abi. Everyone was overjoyed to see him, especially Langanger. As they sat chatting, Chechup said, "All right, I'll leave now. If you need anything, just call me once, and I'll come right over. I'm in the next room." The story then reveals that Ingrid already knew that Abi would be coming here. Later, Ingrid confessed that she and Abi were in a relationship. Whether anyone else was shocked or not, Langanger was struck hard. Even Abi was a little awkward because he had never told Langanger about it. Annoyed by this, Langanger stormed upstairs. When Unjun entered the room, Langanger started arguing, hurling insults at Ingrid, questioning how she could get into a relationship with Abi. Hearing this, Unjun said, "Why, what's so unusual about it? Nobody stays single forever. And one day, you'll have to express your own feelings to someone too. Abi never knew you liked him. If you kept your feelings hidden and said nothing, then whose fault is that? Even I didn't know you liked Abi. Hiding everything in your heart doesn't work, you have to express yourself sometimes." As the conversation heated up, Langanger got furious, locked Ingrid inside the room, and stormed off into the forest alone. Now the question arose, who would go find him? The responsibility fell on Abi. When Ingrid offered to go too, Unjun said, "No, you shouldn't go. He's extremely angry with you." Abi then went searching for Langanger through the jungle. Meanwhile, after walking some distance, Langanger realized he was lost. His compass wasn't working properly. Just then, he saw Kamala ahead and asked her about the way. But then another voice called his name from beside him. When Langanger looked in that direction, he was stunned. If Kamala was standing there, then who was standing right in front of him? At that moment, the woman in front of him revealed her terrifying true face. Terrified, Langanger fell backward and injured his leg. Trying desperately to get up and escape, he saw a stone in front of him. On it was written, "Kamala died 2 years ago." It was her grave. Just then, Kamala's spirit appeared before him. Trying to save himself, Langanger fell into a nearby grave and began screaming desperately for help. But there was no one to hear him. The next moment, insects from the grave started crawling into his mouth. In other words, he became possessed. Meanwhile, the friends who knew nothing of all this were discussing Langanger. Ingrid easily figured out that Langer's strange behavior was due to her and Abi's relationship. But what could she do? She hadn't known that Langanger liked Abi. Unjun said, "The real issue is that Langanger thinks our lives are perfect, that we have no sorrows, no struggles. But that's just a misconception in his mind. Everyone has their own battles that they might not show, but they feel them inside." Meanwhile, deep in the forest, Abi found Langer's bag lying on the ground and stopped the car. But as he approached the bag, the car's headlights went off, and the bag suddenly disappeared. Abi thought maybe Langanger was playing a prank. When the headlights came back on, he saw Kamala sitting in the car, running her fingers through her hair. Because of the harsh glare of the light, it was hard to see clearly. When he looked closely, the lights went out again, and Kamala was gone. Calling out Langer's name, Abi took a few steps forward and then saw Kamala standing right in front of him. Frightened out of his wits, Abi rushed back to his car, but in the panic, he had an accident and lost consciousness. Meanwhile, at the farmhouse, terrifying incidents began happening one after another. First, Ingrid became possessed and started cutting her own hair with scissors. Downstairs, the others were chatting. Unjun said, "I don't understand why Langanger envies me." Lin Tang replied, "Because you and your family seem so perfect." For the first time, Unjun revealed a secret: the people who raised me aren't my real parents. They found me abandoned on a pile of garbage by the roadside. Since they had no children of their own, they took me in. I don't know why my real parents abandoned me, but I've never grieved over it. Everyone thinks my life is perfect, but no one realizes that the image people show society isn't their complete truth, he added. At that moment, they heard Ingrid screaming. Rushing upstairs, they snatched the scissors from her hands. When Ingrid regained consciousness, she had no memory of what had happened. As they helped her sit down, Lin Tang suddenly had difficulty breathing. Without telling anyone, she went downstairs to look for her inhaler. Meanwhile, some locals passing through the jungle found the unconscious Abi and took him with them. Finding her inhaler, Lin Tang recovered, but when she looked up, she saw Kamala hanging from the wall. The next moment, Kamala entered Lin Tang's body. From there, one terrifying event after another began. Even Unjun was haunted. Lin Tang, possessed by Kamala, tried to strangle Unjun. At the critical moment, Chechup came and whispered in Lin Tang's ear, "Leave this body. This isn't the one you want." Mysteriously, Lin Tang calmed down. When asked, Chechup explained, "These are free spirits, or restless souls. They are constantly looking for human bodies to possess because they want to stay in this world. But don't worry," he assured them. "Everything is fine now." Later, Lin Tang asked Ingrid to bring her some medicines from the upstairs room. But when Ingrid opened the medicine box, she was shocked by what she saw. Because it is used for brain tumors. She is shocked to realize that Lin Tang had hidden this matter from them all this time, and that she wasn't going to Singapore for a trip but for an operation. Coming downstairs, Ingrid tells Unjun about it, and both of them break down in tears. Their dear friend had hidden such a painful thing just to keep everyone happy. She didn't want anyone to suffer for her or for their trip to get ruined. So the two of them decide that no matter what, today everyone will return home. Unjun says, "You stay with her. I'll arrange a car with Chechup." Meanwhile, when Abi regains consciousness, he finds himself lying in an unfamiliar house. Seeing him getting up, a child calls his father, and we realize that Abi is actually at the master's, Ustad's, house. After ordering the child to fetch some water, the master says, "Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. You and your friends must leave that farmhouse immediately. A lot of incidents have happened in and around that house, incidents that you may not even believe." Abi asks, "What kind of incidents?" The master sighs deeply and says, "Have you ever heard of black magic?" Abi says, "Yes, I have, but as far as I know, those are just stories." The master informs him, "These are not just rumors." Meanwhile, when Unjun enters the forest, he sees Kamala and moves toward her, but suddenly finds himself standing alone. But how could this be possible? Just then, as the figure approaches him, it transforms into Kamala. Unjun somehow manages to save himself by running away. The story shifts back to the master, who brings up the name Mas Rudy when discussing black magic. Mas Rudy had sacrificed his own daughter Kamala to the devil. But it hadn't started that way. The girl was different from everyone else and grew up in isolation. One of the construction workers had tortured Kamala in the forest and fled. The poor girl, unable to bear the pain, jumped off a bridge and committed suicide. After this incident, Mas Rudy learned the most terrifying black magic from the mysterious people living on the hill, a ritual known as Razik Sukma. Using this ritual, he brought back the spirit of his dead daughter. This restless spirit roamed around like a mad entity, seeking human bodies to possess so it could stay in the mortal world forever. Abi asks, "But what happened to his wife?" The master replies, "His wife had tried very hard to stop him from learning black magic. She even informed me about it. But after that day, she was never seen again." He continues, "Later, the effects of all this fell upon my family as well. About a month ago, my daughter Anisha was possessed by Kamala. Fortunately, Chechup saved her that day. But just a few days later, Mas Rudy killed Chechup. Chechup's body was found a week later by the riverside, decomposed and rotting." Hearing this, Abi is shocked. How can this be possible? Because Chechup is at the farmhouse. Then the master shows Abi a photo of Mas Rudy's family. Abi is completely stunned. Because the person at the farmhouse is not Chechup, it's Mas Rudy. Upon hearing this, the two of them immediately head toward the farmhouse. Meanwhile, Unjun, hiding in the forest, sees Mas Rudy taking Langanger somewhere on his back. Unjun secretly follows them. When they enter the forest, they reach the place where they had earlier seen black magic being performed. A ritual is underway. Mas Rudy is about to kill Langanger when he notices Unjun. Terrified, Unjun runs away and finds a hut in the forest, where he hides. Meanwhile, when Lin Tang regains consciousness, she is startled by the condition of the room. Ingrid says, "We're leaving the farmhouse tonight itself. The car will be ready in a little while. But why did you hide your illness from us?" Lin Tang is about to answer when suddenly the possessed Langanger arrives and attacks everyone. On the other hand, Unjun notices a woman tied up inside the hut. When he asks about her, he learns she is Kamala's mother, meaning she had been kept captive all this time. Just then, Mas Rudy attacks Unjun fiercely, beating him badly. But Unjun, using all his remaining strength, manages to push him away and free Kamala's mother. Meanwhile, the master and Abi arrive at the farmhouse. The master calms Langanger down. Back in the forest, Mas Rudy chases after Unjun and Kamala's mother, trying to kill them. Kamala's mother repeatedly tries to explain to Mas Rudy that their daughter cannot be brought back, because she is dead. But Mas Rudy refuses to accept it. Then, grabbing a stick lying nearby, Unjun jumps onto Mas Rudy and kills him. Meanwhile, Langanger escapes from the farmhouse and heads straight home. First, he kills the man who had come to buy their house, meaning the Kamala inside Langanger is using his hatred for his family as her main weapon. After killing that man, Langanger runs toward Bacula to kill him. In between, when his parents block his path, he tries to kill them too. Just before things spiral completely out of control, the master arrives and manages to subdue the situation. He tries to free Langanger from Kamala's possession. The Kamala inside Langanger screams terribly. She keeps crying out, "Mother, help me." Her mother says, "I am always by your side. I love you, Kamala. But now you must go. Travel the path to heaven and find your peace." With one final scream, calling out, "Mother," everything falls silent. So, is everything finally alright? But then, why isn't Langanger regaining consciousness? Even after waiting for several hours, Langanger's body remained motionless. There was no sign of breathing. Yet the master still had complete faith. He said that Langanger's soul was refusing to return to his body for some reason, perhaps because he no longer wished to live. At that moment, Kamala's mother said, "It's not too late yet. If we want, we can bring her back. All of us must call her by name so that her subconscious mind gets activated." The most important thing, she said, was that Kamala was keeping Langanger possessed by relying on Langanger's anger and thirst for revenge. Therefore, someone had to calm Langanger's mind along with that anger. Ingrid said, "All of Langanger's anger is directed at me. I am the one at fault." At that moment, Abi stopped her and said, "Langanger's deepest anger is actually towards her family." Then, Langanger's mother realized her mistake and hugged her tightly. After losing her father, Langanger, their only daughter, had been deprived of love. Now her mother wanted to make up for every moment of that lost love. On one side, there was a mother's love, and on the other, her friends kept calling Langanger's name over and over again. Now the scene shifts back to the very beginning of the movie, where we had seen Langanger sitting by the mountain wearing a white dress. That was actually Langanger's soul, or the hidden self within her mind, who, thinking of her father, was trying to leave the world, cutting all ties behind. In reality, she had lost all will to live. And this part of her mind was portrayed through the story in this way. Sitting next to her motionless body were her family, friends, and loved ones, and their voices kept reaching Langanger. Their love, their attachment, as if today they would not let her go. At that moment, she heard her father's voice, "Langanger, come back. Everyone is waiting for you." This one call compelled Langanger to return. As a result, we see worms from the grave coming out of Langanger's mouth, which signified that she was now free from Kamala's possession. Immediately afterward, life returned to her lifeless body. Joy flooded everyone's hearts. For the first time, Langanger apologized to her mother and addressed Omuddin as "Father." The man who had longed to hear that word for so long finally saw his dream come true today. Thanking the Creator endlessly, he embraced Langanger tightly. Langanger apologized to her friends and her only brother, Bacula, and thus this horrifying night finally came to an end. The next day, after everyone returned home, Lin Tang left for Singapore with her father to get his treatment done. She promised all her friends that she would return soon, and everyone bid her farewell with smiling faces. They all came together, letting go of their sorrows and pains. However, that dreadful night had taught them a lot. Today, they truly understood the value of life. No matter how much disagreement or misunderstanding there might be among them, they knew they would always return to the ones they cared about by the end of the day. And with this, the movie comes to an end. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more videos like this. Thanks for watching.